discussion, and there was no action taken. And we're going to go right into our meeting as soon as we get all the commissioners here.
Oh.
Good evening. It's good to see everyone here for the May 24th meeting of the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners. At this time, we'd like to ask if you'd please turn off any cell phones or any electronic devices until we get through with the meeting. And if you'll please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful day that you've given us. We thank you that we've had the opportunity to come already earlier today and take care of some of the business of the county. We ask that you be with us tonight as we go through this agenda. We ask that you will guide our hearts, our mind, and our words, that we will truly do what is in the best interest of the county and those that live here. We ask that you be with everyone here tonight as they leave from this place and give them a safe trip home. And we pray these things in your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our first item will be to adopt an agenda. I don't believe there's any need to make any amendments there, so can you have a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. All in favor? All right, we have the minutes from the May 11th regular meeting. We've had a chance to read over these. Are there any corrections or changes that need to be made?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to accept those minutes as presented.
All right, we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. We come to the municipal comments. We have Mayor Glover from Greenville. Mayor Prater from Warm Springs.
Show and tell time.
Okay.
I apologize that they didn't send me the email with the picture so that I could get the screen for everybody to see. But this is the DOT schematic of the roundabout they're going to place in downtown Warm Springs. It will take the place, of course, of stop signs and that yield sign. So strange, I had told someone in a downtown development meeting that they wanted to have a traffic light there. And I said, don't you mention traffic light. If you do, DOT is going to come up with a roundabout. So when we met with DOT, sure enough, I asked that the yield sign be taken down or at least lowered, and they brought out this. The plan is to place some new material they're using. They've used it across the state and other districts that haven't used it in our district yet. And it's a new curbing. Now put the curbing down and then backfill it with paving material so that the trailers can run across it. It's not going to require any construction on the road, which is good. It'll just be striping. One of the good things about it too is that they're going to have to move one of the sidewalk, or not sidewalk, one of the crossings, and it goes farther down toward the Bullock House, which is much better than having to go all the way to that corner, cross over to the community building and back down. Some of you have a different view that shows all the way down to the other intersection. There are plans to add a new crosswalk in the middle of that long block. It'll be between the hotel and the driveway to the hotel. and it'll go across to about where the train, old train is. The engineers feel too that when they put this crossing in, there's going to have to be some construction done on the hotel side, and they're hoping that that will bring that side into a better ADA compliance. Also, if you go down to the traffic light, there's no legal way today to go from our Visitors Information Center to Dinner's Ready. There's a crosswalk across to the park. There's a crosswalk from the park to the BP station. And so they're going to put in crosswalks all around that intersection.
I just want to make sure, so you're saying they're going to make a crosswalk from where the Welcome Center is over on that, where that antique shop is on that
Right.
corner? Okay.
And then from the antique shop across to the BP station, so that you can get to Chad's legally. The good news is this is what they call a quick response program, so they're going to be able to do it in record time. They have told us that they will be through with it by the end of September, so that it won't interfere with our fall festivals. And so that's part of the good news for Warm Springs. I got a note yesterday that we probably soon are going to have another business in town that we'll be very pleased to have. They're in the design phase of it now, something that I think y'all will be glad to hear about. I understand that someone said I was missed at the last meeting, but it's my pleasure to represent Meriwether County at the Three Rivers Area Agency on Aging. I asked them, am I old enough? Thank you.
Mayor Bob had a quick
Yes.
question. I understood you to say there'd be no construction here, merely painting and striping.
Right, except for right there in the center of the
Yeah, there's gonna be
intersection.
just a little bit right there.
Oh, okay.
Some kind of new material they're using.
But there won't be, there's enough room on the right-of-ways that we won't have to move any of the right-of-ways.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
You know, roundabouts are definitely the new it for DOT, and they're not actually anything new. You go to, especially different islands, they have a lot of roundabouts. But one of the things I do notice in some of those places, in the center part, they're always used as a means of beautification, flowers and things of that nature. Are you all thinking about,
No,
would you have that
because
much space?
there won't be that much, and the
The
trailers,
trailers are gonna run over it.
the tractors will follow the path that a car would, but the trailer will be coming over that.
We don't have enough, okay.
They're also going to put up the proper signage for us at the crosswalks.
Would there be anything like the one in Harris City, you know, before you get to it, you know it's got a little bumping sound. Do they do that in the city or just because?
I don't know that much
Okay.
detail.
It's a great idea. Looks good.
One of the things it will do is keep the traffic flowing from Warm Springs toward Manchester.
Manchester.
There won't be that stop start, and they feel that that will help our downtown as well.
Thank you, we'll give these back to them, they'll give these pictures.
They didn't give me that many, and I'm being sorry.
We can do that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, you have anything from Woodbury?
Everything's going well in Woodbury.
Okay. All right. Mr. Burt from Manchester, you have anything?
Everything's going well when I left.
All right, we're glad to have y'all tonight.
Yes.
Are there any other cities that I'm missing? Okay, we'll move on to the constitutional officers, and I believe our sheriff is our one officer.
No, ma'am, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move along to our department heads. We'll start over here with Brent. Ms. Jane? Is Joey?
It's that time of year again, so property assessment notices will go in the mail this Friday. With the weekend, most people will see them in their mailbox probably first of next week. It'll list your property value, if there have been any changes from the previous year, estimated tax amount, any exemptions, things like that. It's a way for people to review the information, make sure everything we have is correct, and then of course it gives them a 45-day window if they wish to appeal the value. Hopefully people will understand, because we get so many calls every year, this is not your bill. This is just an estimate of what it's going to be based on the current figures. Like I said, you will have a 45-day window to appeal or call and ask questions about it, and they will go out this Friday, all parcels and all businesses will be taxed.
Do you know if there's been much change overall?
The last few years, right after the recession, of course, things dropped significantly, but the last few years it's been relatively stable. There's not a lot of difference in this year's digest value versus last year. It's pretty stable.
Thank you. All right, are there any other department heads? Ms. James, you have anything with extension? Carolyn with chamber?
Yes, ma'am, I have three quick things. First, I want to remind you all about our Peaches in the Ponds Festival. If you've noticed, banners have been put up in several of our cities around the county, so we're glad about that. And if y'all will continue to spread the word about that festival, and we hope to have triple the number of attendees and double the number of volunteers. So that, I mean, not volunteers, vendors, excuse me. So that, well, we need more volunteers too, but, so we hope that we will generate some profit from that, and that festival will continue to grow year after year. Also want to let you know that the Tourism Product Development Grant funding cycle for this second cycle, we got 3 grants before, we are applying for 2 more. One will be for the City of Warm Springs, where we will ask for funds to work with the Downtown Development Authority and the Merchants Association on a design plan for streetscape, facade design, signage, and gateway signage, and so forth. So that is underway. If I can finish it up by Friday. The second one is the one that we're doing for this second phase of our mural project, and that will be for the mural in Woodbury and in Greenville. So that will be a $10,000 request. The grant max did go up to $10,000 for this cycle, and we do have a year to implement that. So we received the rent. We already had the rendering for Woodbury. We got the rendering for Greenville today. So folks in Ms. Glover's area are taking a look at that now and giving us some feedback. And then lastly, I just want to let you know that our projects that we're currently doing are moving along quickly. In particular, we're excited about our geocache project in Woodbury. And just so you will know that it is a real project, and it is going to happen. I'm giving y'all all a zombie necklace. Okay? This is one of the many trinkets that will be inside our zombie caches. And so this is simply physical evidence that we are continuing with that project, and we're sending off the design to get the tags done. We've got the passports, the design for the passports done. So y'all can just be ready for a grand announcement very soon.
Bus, would you model for this?
I wasn't asked.
I can't get them untangled. This is Oriental Trading. If you ever dealt in Oriental Trading, that's untangled up. I thought I had them all.
Tell everybody you got them directly from the zombies.
That's right.
So anyway, we got a bunch of cute stuff from Oriental Trading for that, including some glow-in-the-dark zombie finger puppets and some little skulls that you can attach to a bracelet. So what we were told is that when kids go, particularly kids, and adults too, but when they go to find these caches, they want to get something. And it doesn't matter whether it's a trinket or it's something more expensive. And hopefully they will leave something when they take something. Those are the rules of the game. Everybody get one? So, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
You've also gotten, the Peaches and Pines have gotten really good coverage on radios. I've heard it several
I'm
times.
so glad to hear that.
Radios.
Yeah.
Mention the date again of that.
June the 11th.
Ms. Madam Chair, I want to ask Carolyn a question. Once again, Peaches and the Pines is doing very well. You're doing a great job. But for those who know of any food vendors, we encourage you to reach out to the tourism group and let them know. And the other thing is, I wanted to ask you, what's the status on the mural project in Lono? Would that be the first one to go up, or is it?
Warm Springs is almost finished, and they will be installing that at the end of this month, beginning the week of May 31st. The one in Lono, he's working on that one. As you know, that I mentioned this to you, that he reported that the building had some structural issues that needed to be attended to. I spoke with the mayor last week, and he says he thinks that that can be alleviated by taking those exterior boards off of the substructure. He said the substructure is in good shape, and he's thinking that perhaps the mural can now be painted on that baseboard, or whatever that base structure is, rather than it being attached, because the original plan was to do it in the studio and then attach it to the structure.
Okay.
So, and I also talked to the mayor about doing some more education with the citizens up there, so that they can have a better understanding of tourism and why it matters and how their city can ultimately benefit from it.
All right, so we're initially looking at the first one to be put up will be in Warm Springs.
Right.
And then the second one would be in Lono.
Right, but it's in that first grant cycle, so it'll be soon.
And I guess, is there a deadline so that we stay in
June 30th.
compliance with that
Yeah,
grant?
June 30th, and the mayor knows that date,
June 30th?
June 30th, yes, ma'am.
And if, I guess my thing is so that we are in compliance based on the grant. We
Right.
don't want to
Jeopardize
the grant because
Yes,
we
ma'am.
missed the deadline.
Right.
Okay.
So, and I was told if your product is almost finished and just not quite finished, that's okay. They'll cut you a little bit of slack, but not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. Okay, thank you.
Well,
All right, thank you. All right, there's no need for a public hearing. We have no old business. We're going to move right on down to new business. Our first item, we do need to table to a future meeting, so can we have a motion to table that?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. All in favor? Okay. All right, next will be Mr. Weiss, and I think he has others with him for Habitat for Humanity, so y'all come on up. and-
I'd like for Bruce, y'all know Bruce, I'd like him to speak first, and we'll try to give you the information that you may not know about Habitat and what's happening in the county, and I want to speak about the students.
Okay.
I'm Bruce Burt, the treasurer and construction leader for Meriwether County Habitat. We are affiliated, we're an affiliate of Habitat for Humanity International, and we operate with a great deal of autonomy of our own local group. And the main two things we get from International is tax exempt status and name recognition. Both of them are very, very important. And our goal is to provide decent and affordable housing to local people. And one thing we're real proud of, we are all volunteer. We have no paid salaries whatsoever. The only negative to that, every one of us get a year older each year. We build only in Meriwether County. We take applications from only Meriwether County residents. And we're now completing our 26th house in 19 years. We're building more per year now than we're in the beginning. And we'll be dedicating it June 11th. The houses we build are roughly 1,200 square feet, at least 1,200 square feet, in some cases a little bit more. They're either 3 or 4 bedrooms with all new appliances and construction completely new construction. We have built in Manchester, Greenville, Warm Springs, near Durand, and near Luthersville. And the people that apply or consider for potential homes have to have a low enough income to have a need, but have enough income to make the mortgage payments. And we also require them to put in 300 square hours during the time that we build their house, or the time we complete their house. The owners do not get a free house, of course. They have an interest-free 20-year mortgage based on our cash cost. That's right now, that's roughly $55,000 per house. we're real proud of the fact that over the last few years, we have spent 92% of our income for building houses. Of course, you always have insurance, dues, and a few other things that you have to pay for. Our focus is on putting money in houses. Our income comes from mortgage payments. Right now, we have enough mortgage payments to almost build a house per year. And we have some donations, grants, fundraisers. And all the homeowners, of course, are tax-paying citizens. In 2015, the houses we have on the books paid almost $1,200 per year for county and city taxes. And we have built at least 15 houses on land that was previously tax-exempt status. Callaway Foundation and Board of Education property that went to the city of Manchester, and then they donated 9 acres to us, where we're building now. We're building house number 9 there now. When we complete that subdivision, we'll have 21 homes in what was previously tax-exempt property. We build 1 to 2 houses per year, depending on whether or not we have funds available. We always have a spring build, and during the spring build, when the college students come to help us frame the house. So I'm going to let Jim talk to you now about college students.
Thank you.
The college students are so awesome. I can't express how much I love them and see ministry with them. I mention ministry because Habitat is ministry. With me, it's local ministry. You get out of your pews and you go actually in the streets and do something. We've started with college students about 15 years ago, and I've worked with every group except one. 9 years ago, we had a college show up from St. Mary's College in Maryland. It's on your agenda. If you would look at that, I want you to see the feeding schedule. And the reason I mention the feeding schedule, I want you to see the people who are involved in this county every year with these students. I lay it out every day. You see the first day. They get here usually on a Saturday. And Jack Couch and myself, we'll meet when it gets set up. Sunday when it kicks it off. They'll go to church with one of us or both of us, and then it's really on in that. You see Sunday night, Warm Springs Baptist Church, and I think with the Rotary Club, if I'm right, going together for this. And that kicks off a week of community involvement. Every day there's a different civic group, church group, individual that donates food. And I arranged all this. American Legion joined up 2 years ago. It's hard to get a spot. So many people call me and say, we want to feed them. Everybody loves the college students. They have a good reputation that we hear. We get great feedback. These students come to us and they do fundraising on campus all year long. Each one of them brings $100. So we get 15, that's $1,500 brought to the Habitat Chapter. And then they work with it entirely. The first time they came down here, they stayed at Henry Barnes Silos. And a lot of you probably know the Silos or know Henry Barnes. They fell in love with that place. When they think about Greenville, they think about the Silos. They have a fire ring outside every night after work. They sit around and they critique the day. What was good, what was bad. And they write each other little notes, and they have a little bag, and they share encouragement with each other, and they manage each other. If they have an issue, they meet themselves and monitor that and work it out. You never see a problem. We've never had a problem. This school is so amazing. 9 straight years they've been here. They came that first year and they said, we've never been treated this good. We've been to churches and they said, well, you can sleep on the floor and we'll see you later at the work site. I tell them, first I said, your family when you come here, I'm your daddy or your uncle or somebody that's going to look at you, call your parents and say, Jim is a Christian, he looks after us. Don't worry, I never leave him. I literally get up in the mornings with them and put them to bed at night. Jack Couch and I work close with these students. And I mean very close. We share our faith. This is something that surprises a lot of students. They come here. And I said, here in the South, you're going to drink a lot of sweet tea and you hear a lot of prayers. We pray over everything. Food, working, whatever comes up. And then during this process, they want to know, why are y'all doing this? And I said, well, let me have a while and tell you. I'm a Christian. We're Christians. Everybody in construction crew, we're all Christians, and we share our faith. And the reason I mention it is so profound We didn't realize the first what was happening. When they get back, they would let us know. They'd say, when we got back, we found we were changed. What happened? And I've had the last couple of years, I've had some sit-down discussions with them. They see us accepting them so wholeheartedly, loving them from the get-go, no matter who they are. We accept them, we love them. They see us loving each other, sharing with each other, caring for each other. They see a community at large, Marietta County, embracing them, because they've never seen that before. And they're coming back next year, 10 straight years. We're doing something very good in this community. Girls, boys, they all hammer and nail and bust their fingers and get splinters. And there was a DVD, I think, that was available to you. I don't know if y'all saw that. That's a good caption of what we're doing. And they're building the whole subdivision in this county. And they love it. I'm so amazed at what I want to say to share with you tonight is that I'd like for this commission to look at these students and recognize them for 9 years of faithful service coming back next year. We're doing something very right in this community, not just us, but the whole community. And I'd like to send something to St. Mary's College in Maryland to say, hey, you're sending your best students every year. We recognize that. They've been here 9 years now, coming up 10 years. We'd like the college to know their students are so better. I mean, I've worked with every other college since this is an outstanding college. It's an honors college. So it's not an easy college to get into, but they are so adamant about coming here. This last year, I want you to have seen when they arrive at Simon's. They drive these big vans and the school works with them. The driver, she's about 5 foot tall if she's 5 feet. She drove the whole entire way, I think, for 13, 14 hours straight. She drove up there, when she jumped out the road in the dirt, she said, I'm back. She was so excited to be back in Greenwood. So think about this, and y'all think of some way. Here's the feeding schedule. This will be the same for this coming year, most likely. Maybe there's a time in there you can say, well, we could do something at this time, or some other time, for the students and then something for the college. I appreciate you thinking of that. I thank you for letting us meet tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we can certainly do something, and right off the bat, I'm thinking we could do a proclamation of something we could send to the school, and then we'll keep this calendar, or as you know, well, this was this year. As we head into March for next year, well, maybe we can try to find a date that we can go to one of the meals, whether it be lunch or dinner, and maybe present something to them there. So,
Now, I don't know, maybe that's Sunday night.
okay,
Some people involved, I mean, the Rotary and the First Baptist, I mean, that sort of keeps the week off.
okay.
Or maybe the very last night, Linda, y'all know
It'll be in
Linda well.
March of next year.
We have our last meal at Linda Weldon's house. That's the country, you know, I thought, so I don't.
Okay. Well, you just stay in touch with us, and we'll go ahead and Beverly go ahead and put down a note about it or whatever, but we'll plan something.
These some outstanding young people, and I got a lot of them go back to, we changed our name based on what we learned. You know, we're doing something really good.
Thank you so much, all of you, for your work. All right, next on the agenda is Mr. Sibley, and I don't believe he's here. All right, we'll move on. Next, we have a proclamation. And is Miss Burtson here?
No, she's not.
Okay, all right. We have a proclamation for Ella, is it Oretha? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Burtson, who is celebrating her 95th birthday. And she was born May 25th, 1921 in Lone Oak, Marietta County. And she was the youngest and only surviving sibling of 7 children. And we have a proclamation that all the commissioners have signed, and we will certainly get that presented to her at whatever's convenient with her. We give it to you, Ms. I said, do you want to say something about her?
Yes, Miss Burston is the 95. She would actually turn 95 tomorrow. They did a celebration this past Saturday with her family and honoring her. She is the oldest citizen in the Lone Oak community. She's been here all her life. It's just a blessing to have someone with that kind of wisdom and in our county. But I have to share this. She shared this with us. She went to get her photo ID this past Thursday, and she asked, she really went to get her driver's license. And so they asked, she said, well, how much? Her daughter said, well, she needs a photo ID. And she says, no, I want my driver's license. And so the instructor said, well, if you can pass the eye test. And she says, well, what's the cost of the ID and what's the cost of the driver? She said, they're the same. She said, well, let me have my eye exam then, you know. And she passed it, and therefore she has her driver's license.
Wow.
But her kids made sure that she does not have a vehicle to drive. So once again, it is just an honor to be able to recognize our citizens in Meriwether County, and we're very blessed to have those who have lived such a long life, and God has blessed them. So I'm glad that this board has acknowledged her for her 95 years. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing her to our attention. All right, next on the agenda is the roof for the jail, and I believe this is something we need to table as well. Okay, can we have a motion to table?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, the RFP for the tax anticipation note.
It's the time of the year where our cash flow begins to, revenues begin to slow down a little bit, and in anticipation of having to pay out some little big monies and extra payroll in the month of June, we will most likely need to go into access that note sometime probably in July, early August. So what we're asking tonight is you authorize us to put an RFP out for a tax anticipation note not to exceed $2,000. $2 million.
In that case, 2,000 over there right now.
$2 million.
Okay, here in this recommendation from Mr. Gregory, we're going to have a motion to go out for RFP for the tax anticipation note.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, next we have some agency budget requests. We heard from these agencies at our last meeting. These are all agencies that have a different fiscal year than we do, so it's necessary for us to make these approvals before our budget actually goes into effect. We had a work session at 5 today where we went over the final information, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Bill, and we will be voting on these.
I guess we'll just take them one at a time. We have a request from DFAX for $15,000. It's our recommendation that we approve that amount for them at this time.
Okay, here in this information, we have a motion to approve the $15,000 budget for DFAX.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
The second one is the district attorney's office. They're asking for a little bit more than 1% increase for their personnel cost, amount of $198,273 for the next fiscal year.
Okay. We have a motion regarding the request for the DA office.
So moved.
Have a second? Second. All in favor?
The next one is the public defender's office. They were asking for an 8% personnel increase. We're recommending that be reduced to 2.5% to be in line with the county's employees' raises that we've had this past year.
Okay, here in the recommendation for the 2.5% increase, we have a motion.
So moved.
Have a second? Second. All in favor?
The next one is the health department. They're asking $152,500, which is the same amount they've had for the past 4 years. So we're recommending approval of that.
All right, we have a motion to approve the request for the health department. All right, have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Next one is the Three Rivers Regional Commission. They're asking for an $8 reduction from last year's, the amount of $13,911, which is an estimate of what our dues would be based on some state criteria.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the budget for the Three Rivers, $13,911.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Next is the library.
Next is the library. They were asking for $85,993 in consultation with Mr. Gay and the board during the workshop. What we're proposing is that we grant them an $85,000 not to exceed with $38.75 to be used only for book purchases, which we will reimburse them for when they spend that.
And that was part of their request for the additional funds, was
It was
for
for
books.
Books and,
Books and audio, I believe it was.
Material.
All right, hearing this, can we have a motion to approve this request?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
And Madam Chair, the last one is the Pathways Organization.
No,
They're asking.
County agent.
I'm sorry, excuse me. I skipped them. The next one is the county agents. They're asking for a 2.5% personnel increase in line with the county employees, so we're recommending approval of that as well.
Okay, hearing this request, we have a motion regarding the county agent budget.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
And now it's Pathways' turn for continuing $5,000, which they've had for several years.
Okay, we have a motion regarding Pathways $5,000 request.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, I think that covers all the agency
ma'am.
requests, because we'll be having done a lot more work on the budget in the weeks to come, but these we do have to get done early because of their fiscal year differences. Okay, we have a budget amendment number 8, date fund.
We sent you some information on the date fund, and the way the date fund budget works is we have a beginning balance at the first of the year in the checking account, and we try to estimate what the revenues will be and then line up the expenses with the revenue. We've had our revenues have been more than what we anticipated, plus we've had expenses, which is a little bit more, so we're asking to amend that budget and to balance it while we're doing that. So that's what amendment number 8 is.
Can we have a motion to approve budget amendment number 8 for the date fund?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? We have budget amendment number 9, jail fund.
It's virtually the same thing as the date fund, it's just the jail fund.
We have a motion to approve budget amendment number 9 for the jail fund.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, next on the agenda is Ms. Jane Fryer with the Keep Meriwether Beautiful. Hello?
Hello.
As you know, we had a great event with a Great American Cleanup, but as you also know, there were some issues that we had regarding several of the things that went on, mainly the tires. We discussed this in our committee meeting, then we had a little subcommittee to get together and talk about it and ask for recommendations back to you on what you can do to help us with this issue. The main issue, of course, were the tires that were taken in and the way it was done. The recommendation from our subcommittee, we haven't had another Keep Meriwether Beautiful meeting to present it to them, but I wanted to go ahead and present it because our next cleanup is in October, and believe it or not, it'll be there before you know it. We are recommending one central location for all tires to be taken to. We prefer an area that is fenced in, and we will have it manned, not only by one of our volunteers, but hopefully someone with some enforcement, whether it's the deputies that could be there with us, or someone from Public Works. One of the recommendations was, and that is up to you, of course, was the Public Works area, which is fenced in. This past time, we did not limit the times that they could bring tires and garbage and everything. We, in addition to having a central location for the tires for everybody to bring, we're going to limit the times that they could bring those tires and trash. We would begin at 8 o'clock, and we would have it manned. We will make sure there is someone there at all times not only one of our volunteers, but like I say, someone with some enforcement capabilities, from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, the gates will be locked and no one can bring anything. As part of that, one of the things that we discussed, and I don't know if this is possible or not, but to keep a log of when a truck comes in, get the name of the person driving the truck, who he's representing, if he says, this comes out of my yard, where do you live? And how many tires they are bringing. And have someone there at all times to put down what is coming in. Basically, that's our main recommendation to you. We've got some other things. The containers, of course, we know we had a problem with that, not being located in the right place. We have scheduled a meeting with, first of all, Waste Management, June 8th. We will be meeting with them. Another suggestion that we are going to do is have someone there when the container is delivered and sign off that this is the correct place. First of all, we will put in the paper the location and address of where the containers will be. We will have our volunteers there to accept the container and make sure it does arrive there. And if it has not arrived there by a certain time, call them and say, where are you? Where did you put the container? To make sure they are where they're supposed to be. So those are the main things that we want to do. It is going to take our volunteers agreeing to help us with this, and I think we can have enough volunteers. We've got a big committee to place it. And I was not saying that one volunteer's got to stay there from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock, but have shifts, maybe 2-hour shifts if they want that, or 3-hour shifts, so that you're not burdened down to be in one location all day long. But to have it manned and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. So there's some other things that would not be related to what you are hearing, but those are the things that we would need your help on, is finding the location for the tires, making sure we get the word out there that this is the only place that would accept tires. And if they come to a container, we will have our man people there saying, no sir, we cannot take the tires here, you've got to take it to X location. So that's our request of you to help us with this. You know, now it is only like 4.5 months until it's time to do it again. So,
Will there be a limit for the number of tires an individual can bring?
well, that's a good suggestion.
Because, I mean, we don't need somebody that really runs a tire shop in their backyard bringing it. They should be paying to dispose.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think maybe perhaps a
that would be
limit per person.
That's a good suggestion too. So I would ask for you to, we'll work with you on whatever you want, but I agree. But this is one way of limiting what's going on.
Madam Chair, I have a question too. When you're asked, are we going to also, for those who are dropping off these tires, make sure that they are Meriwether County residents? So are we going to ask for photo ID, driver's license to verify they're in Meriwether County? Because part of what we think happened, we don't know. When you talk about going out, almost like at the county line is where we found a lot of tires. So they would have to show proof of citizenship? Is that something we consider?
I think that, you know, if we're going to log it all
residents.
down and have the person's name and where they live, there's no problem with
Just
making
asking
sure
for
they
their
got
ID.
a driver's license.
Yes.
And possibly maybe even a driver's license that went along with a tax bill or something that shows they were a property owner here.
Because I know in other counties that is part of the requirement,
is.
because my driver's license says Grantville, but technically I'm not in Covington County, I'm in Meriwether County. So that, and on certain portions, some people say Hogansville, some people say Sonoa. That doesn't necessarily mean they're in Meriwether County. So I guess my concern is that we're making sure that this is for our residents.
Absolutely.
And that's
our
because it then
purpose.
costs us to dispose of these tires. That's the
That's
main
right.
thing. We go have an expense to get rid of them.
So we were thinking the public works place, because that's sort of centrally located from everybody. We don't want to put it on one northern end or one southern end, because that, they're going to say, oh, I can't go that far, and then they're just going to dump them somewhere anyway. So if it's centrally located.
It'll be
and
easy
I
to
don't
manage there, I
know-
think.
Right, but there, I still want those public works people rode around looking and making sure everything's okay. And that's fine if they did that, as long as I have volunteers there to make sure they're not throwing mattresses into the containers, that they're putting them where they're supposed to be. So it was probably our fault that we didn't have the volunteers there. But if we do it in
It was
shifts.
our first time though. We had to learn
We learned.
what works and what
We learned a
doesn't.
lot.
But if we could have those dumpsters picked up at the end of the day also,
That's
it's
right.
gonna keep
That's
people
key.
from coming in at night.
That's why I say at 4 o'clock, we're cutting everything off, and when we meet with the waste management folks, and then we go and talk to others, we're gonna say, you've got to come get those containers at 4 o'clock. We want you to get them out there.
What about limiting the total number of sites also to maybe one per district? And then that way you don't have the number or the volume of sites out there.
And you could put more containers at each place, maybe put 2 or 3. That's probably a good idea. And then you wouldn't have as
just
many
one per
places to manage.
One site per district. And then make sure that if we're working in conjunction with the cities or whatever, that they're okay with it.
We may want to discuss that because we are a very big county, we're very well spread out. And so we want to make sure that the trash from every aspect is, those who are willing to participate have somewhere to go.
Well, there's still a lot to talk about, but I didn't want to wait till September to come to you to ask for you to help me identify a place that you'd be thinking about it. We do have time to work on it, but it'll be here before you know it. Here we go again.
Well, thank you for all the work with it. It was a success.
But we do want it to be even better.
And I guess this was something we just need to discuss and figure out how we can do it. Well, nothing of us to take a vote on, but we will certainly be doing whatever we can to make this work better. All right, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the public transportation service agreement, and we do need to table that. Can we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? The agreement with the Georgia EPD is also something that's got to be tabled for a later meeting. Can we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Next will be to confirm the Aetna insurance documents.
That
I
is,
think we have.
the next 3 items are really just paperwork catching up with actions that the board has already approved in terms of the insurance documents, the One America documents, and the BAP consultants.
Here's one other one, same thing. It just needs to be signed. One that we didn't get signed, they didn't have to.
Okay.
So what do we need?
So we just make a motion to confirm these documents that we have. We need to do each one of them separately?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the first one will be to confirm the Aetna insurance documents, and this is our new insurance company for our employees. Have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, next will be to confirm the One America life insurance documents, and again, this is the life insurance for our employees.
That's right.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Next will be to confirm the EAP consultants and agreement, and that's the new
That's the employee assistance
assistance
program.
program. That's
Yeah.
the new program. Again, this is something for our employees. Can we have a motion to confirm the EAP consultants? Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. We have one more I need to sign, you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. This isn't here.
Just a mention of the insurance, very well assured, was actually down in cost, and I know you guys graciously pass some of those savings along to the employees, and I know they sincerely appreciate it.
Okay, we'll have a report from Mr. Bill.
You all have your bank balance documents there in front of you. General fund is still at about $1,700,000. We'll be moving about $100,000 for the 911 account up to the general fund where it needs to be. Everything else looks okay.
Still a good balance.
Still a good balance for the last
We're
week
at
in
the end
May.
of yeah. Okay, anything else?
That's all I have. Unless you have any questions.
A report from Mr. Gay?
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. Last week, Chairman Hadley and I met with Three Rivers RDC about our short-term work program and our comprehensive plan. That is something that's coming up, and I think we've got to complete that. I think it's June of 2018, but it's also a long-term process. So sometime later on this year, I would like to see us, one of our work sessions was dedicated to that. We'll take time to review our current program, what we've got, and maybe we bring Three Rivers in to have them talk about the process and procedures. We need to have a conversation with the cities as to whether or not they want to be part of our program, or that they want to develop their own programs. So I think a work session would be served very well with that. I'll send all of you information that we gathered on basically the slide presentation on that. And so just something you need to be thinking about. That's one of the things that we'll have to address in the not too distant future. So
Looking at the stuff that was on there and the time frame, look, really, right after the first of the year, we probably need to get started on it.
Absolutely.
January of 17, because June of 18 is when it has to be done, but it just takes a while to do all that, so.
And we probably need to have it done by April of 18 where we can have
Because you have,
time.
well, you have
send
to have
it in.
meetings and have them approved and that kind of thing, so.
So,
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, is this 2018 is this one where you have to do, is it every 5 years or 7 years, or this is the complete one that's due at the end of the 20 years? Is
It's
it 20 years or 10 years?
10 years.
10 years.
10 years. So,
So this will be the one we have to do. But it's also a good planning tool for what, the board wants to accomplish as well. And then you also can look back at some of the things that have been accomplished. Some of the directives have changed. So there's a lot of things that this will serve. We actually been talking about updating our work programs anyway. And so this will be a good opportunity, and we can also come in compliance with the state requirements as well. So
And the
that's something.
city should have met, somebody from each city should have met with them as well during that week or whatever. So like I said, we do have to involve them and find out what their plan is, whether to join with us, which what they did the last time.
that's right. And then we have to do an RFP out on this as far as the company that will do the work, or?
Actually, Chat Flint will
Do
do
the
the
work.
work for us. We
Good.
just have to indicate that that's what
That's
we
what we want to
want,
do.
and they'll help us with that. And that would be my regular, recommendation is to use the services, because we're paying for
That's right.
those.
They're already paid.
That's right. So I want to mention that. Also, I sent you guys some information on a dam ownership workshop. I think that's something that we need to have some of our staff maybe attend, people in DMA, and maybe somebody in Public Works. I think Bruce maybe has already had some training in that, but we probably need to send some of our other staff people to that as well, because we've got some responsibilities for about 3 or 4 lakes here in the county. We need to know what we need to do with that. So we'll be working on that. Those are coming up in June and July in Atlanta. So if any of the board members are interested in going, let us know. We'll get you guys signed up as well. Okay. Meeting tomorrow with the engineer to go over the courthouse project specs. So we'll be ready to get RFPs out on that very soon. CSX, Commissioner McCoy and I had an opportunity to meet with talk with CSX last week on a conference call, and we sent them information about what GDOT was requiring. Of course, they had the same concern we did, and that's not to require them to do something that GDOT not accept it. So I spoke back today with Doug Spitznagel, and they've received the information, and I need to send them information on the other bridge as well, and I'll try to get that done before the end of the week. And they're taking it back, and they're looking at the process, and so again, we continue to move forward. It's not an easy process or a quick process, but we're going to be persistent until we get it done. So we're moving forward with that. Today, Bill and I actually had an opportunity to meet with the school superintendent and the school finance director. Very good meeting. I think it was good. We have a lot of real common issues. We're also going to set up a meeting hopefully next week with those same two groups, along with maybe the tax commissioner's office and the tax assessor's office, kind of go over some of the projections on the digest and talk about some of the time frames that are required to advertisement and things of that nature. So I thought it was a very good meeting, and so we plan to have a lot more of those. I want to let you guys know we have received a petition for a road name change. Ms. Rose, I think this is in your district. It's the request is for Tiggs Road to Emerson Road. Ron's already moved forward to do advertisement, and we'll bring that back as soon as we meet the advertising requirements. We did receive some additional funds from DDOT today on our aviation airport layout plan check. I think it was $29,000. So that's more dollars coming in. Got one more thing I need to get them, and we'll take care of that this week, and we should get the balance of our money for the taxiway, and then we'll be able to kind of deal with all that situation and know where we stand with everything. And with that, if it's okay with the board, I'd like to recognize someone. I didn't know she was going to be here tonight, or I would have put this on the agenda. Ms. Cheryl Roberts is with us. She's a resident of Meriwether County, and Cheryl and I have been friends for, she doesn't even look that old, but we've been friends for 35 years. She's an absolutely wonderful person. And again, she's a resident of Meriwether County, and I'd like her to come forward. I wanted to mention this. I was real happy because I saw in the paper this week, I guess it was Next Times Herald, where Cheryl had she's the property tax manager in the tax commissioner's office in Coweta County. She has a tremendous job balancing all of that, and she was honored in the last week or so by the West Central Georgia Club of Business and Professional Women's Club Incorporated. And at its annual Founders Day celebration, she was presented with the 2016 Woman in Public Service Government Award. This is a charter club and a national organization, and they select distinguished members of the community for their business, professional, and humanitarian contributions. And I can say firsthand that there's not a nicer person or a better person than Cheryl Roberts.
Thank you for bringing that to our
Absolutely.
attention. That's
great. We emailed and corresponded, and she said, I might come to the meeting. And I said, well, if you do, we'll recognize you. And she's a resident of Meriwether County.
That's great.
But again, a great person. I appreciate and value the friendship that she and I've had through the years.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Is that all for you?
That's all I have. Yes, ma'am.
All right, we have a report from our county commissioners. Commissioner Threadgill,
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Plant.
Well, there was a couple of things, and I wanted to just recognize that several of us were able to attend business after hours at the hospital. And from all indications, that the hospital's doing very well. So proud to do that. Also, departments in education, and I may have gotten that, careers, is that it, Carolyn? The career thing that we had the dinner out at the high school?
Oh, yes, partnership dinner.
Partnership dinner. So that was very interesting and very enlightening as well. So thank you for inviting us. Probably one other thing that I want to mention is that we still have a problem with the logging, and got a call yesterday, and I'm supposed to be getting some pictures in, but apparently Wilbur Keith Road, and I did talk to Ron last night, and he was sending someone out, but the company's been out there a couple, 3 weeks, and the concern is the damage to the highway, so Wilbur Keith Road. If we'll follow up on that, but once I get the pictures, I'll forward them.
We'll be out and about a little bit tomorrow. I've got several things I need to look
Okay.
at and get up to you
Yeah,
now.
well, with Keith, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And I don't mind going out as well. But anyway, those are the main things that I had. So,
Just one thing, we're going into Memorial Day weekend, and we certainly want to remember all of those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country so we can meet just like we are here tonight to take care of the business of the county. And it will be a county holiday on Monday, so those that are out doing other things, we just hope that you'll have a good weekend and a safe one. Commissioner Ford?
Yes, ma'am. I really don't have a report. Everything seems to be fairly smooth over in my district. But by next meeting, I was wondering if we could get a progress report on a couple of items we have undergoing, like the animal shelter.
Yes, sir.
And also the 911 building. Let the department heads come in and do it, would be
All right,
good.
absolutely. Yes, sir. We'll, hopefully by next week, our next meeting, we'll have some real progress on the animal shelter. They've got gravel down there waiting on the drainage, and we've already got those pipes. They're supposed to be delivered today. Once they do that, they'll be ready to do the concrete, and it should move forward pretty rapidly from there. But we'll get you a report on that.
That would be good. That's all.
Commissioner Hines?
Just a couple things for me. Once again, the Business After Hour event at Warm Spring Hospital was it was a very good event, and they shared with us some of the services that they are offering, and I think once again, it's good to know that they are able to meet the needs of our citizens here in the county as well. So that was good. The Department of Education dinner also was very good. So appreciate the invite to that. The other thing I want to bring to this board's attention, and you may have heard it on television, if not, Mr. Randy Jackson was, I'm not sure his exact position with Kia, but unfortunately passed away. And that's very saddened, but I do want this board to realize that he was a very good person as far as reaching out to communities and providing resources to the communities around Kia. And he definitely did some positive things here in Meriwether County and supported some of the events and things for Kia. So he's going to be missed. I know it's a heavy burden on the Kia. I know Ms. Jane know him personally, but he was very instrumental in making sure that this local area realized all the services and the programs that Kia had to offer in the community at large. It's a shame we've lost him so early, but I did want to bring that to your attention.
Excuse me just a minute. There is a celebration of his life Thursday at 3:30 at the Kia Training Center.
Okay.
Everyone is invited. Parking is going to be a real issue there. They're encouraging people to park across the street, and they will shuttle them over to the Kia Training Center. So if you would like to attend that, it's Thursday at 3:30 at the Kia Training Center.
And then this board was very, very blessed to be a part of the event that Kia hosted. You know, we all went representing Meriwether County, and he spoke so elegantly about Kia and the different things they were doing in this region. So once again, saddened that he has left us so early. The other thing that I want to bring up, two of the things, Peaches in the Pines, that is the county festival. This is our second annual year of hosting it. It's looking very well as far as the things that the chamber has done and the people who've been volunteering, but I do encourage, once again, we have a Facebook page. Please go like that Facebook page so more people can realize that the county is having their own festival. I was very fortunate to be in Gwinnett County last Friday. It was the Urban/Ag Expo in Gwinnett, and it was nice to be able to give information about Meriwether County, and it was nice to know a lot of people know about Meriwether County, so especially the peaches. So they really liked our thing, Peaches in the Pines. So the word is getting out, but we need to make our local people be aware of it. On another note, I'm not going to elaborate on this a whole lot, but we all receive phone calls about our roads. I don't think there's a commissioner here that don't get a call. But I would say I think I get more than the rest. But I'm just joking. But I have definitely gotten my share of calls, and I've gone out looking at roads for the past couple of months. And one of my concerns is that we have some excellent workers who are doing a good job of what they have to work with, but I think we need to look at how public work is operating. There may need to be some restructuring in what is being done. We are a large county, and I understand some of the issues have been they've been going on for quite some time. We can't come in and correct things overnight, but I think we may need to have a work session and look at how we're actually meeting those needs. It seems like all we're doing is putting out one situation, a temporary fix, and then we move on. And by the time you get one thing done, you're running over to another. And even if it means bringing in a civic engineer to look at, because a lot of this is drainage. There's some of the houses, or they've been living here for quite some time, don't have the proper pipes so the water can run off. So there's just a series of things. And I think we need to have a little bit more dialogue on how we're going to address public works. I understand the citizens' concern, but I also know that as a board, we don't get in the everyday operation, but we do help make policies and procedures that will make the job even more efficient. And so once again, I think we have excellent workers, but we may want to address how we are actually operating that department as a whole. So I would like to recommend at some point in time we have a work session that's strictly on public works. We've got some new equipment, and one of the things I had requested from Mr. Gay is that let's make sure that those individuals are properly trained and that they sign off before they operate the equipment. From my understanding, that has been done.
That's right.
Thank you so much for that. But once again, we have a problem with not having enough employees. We do not have the best pay scale, but we have to pay what our budget allows us to pay. So when you look at long-termly, how do we capture people to stay in that department? You know, there was a time where, you know, it wasn't that difficult to get people to work, but most people, you know, let's be honest, don't want to work in public works. It's a very hard department to keep mandate or keep employees. So we need to look at how are we going to be able to attract and keep people? Because the time that it takes to train someone and then 6 months later they have moved on to another county because the pay scale is a little bit better, we're constantly not being in a position to do what we need to do. So I do recommend that there's some more dialogue with the board, with that department, and even if it means bringing some citizens to share. If anybody wants to contact me and share some ideas. But I do want to let the citizens know that this board as a whole is looking at the issues. We know about the roads, but we've got to come up with a better way to address it. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Our county attorney had to leave, had another commitment, so we'll move on to the time of public comment. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to say anything, if you'll come to the podium and give us your name and address, and we'll give you 3 minutes to speak. Okay. If there's not any, we know we've already had our executive session. We were able to do that between our work session and our regular meeting. We do have a few future dates we need to mention. May 30th will be the Memorial Day holiday, so all county offices will be closed. We'll have a regular meeting on June the 8th, a work session on June the 28th at 4 o'clock.
Right.
And then that'll be followed by our regular meeting on June 28th. Is there any other business to come before the board? If not, may we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, we adjourn.
Thank you.
Just Beth, would you sign all these?
I should have waited.
I know, you didn't get it open in time, did you?
I just got it today.
Miss Rosalind has also just gotten the letter that she's
You gonna go down to the
gonna
chainsaw?
go down and tell everybody.
But I called